Hey guys, Pedro here to tell you about the latest from Mélancolia, Random.access.misery, out August 29th on Nuclear Blast. This album has 10 tracks, 38 minutes in length, and this is the band's second full-length studio album. They are an Australian deathcore band. Now, the overall design of this album is very chaotic, but I think that's just a pure result of the sound itself. The sound on this album creates a little bit of that chaos on the individual basis when you look at each and every single song, and then when you transport that to the overall collective of this record, it's impossible to take that chaos away from what the experience is going to be all about. So it's not an album that offers a very smooth transition or a very smooth path from first to last, but it's definitely an album that allows you to enjoy the moment a little bit more with each and every single song. Once you get into the sound, obviously deathcore is at the center of the universe of this record from a sonic perspective. But this album has a lot of new metal, a lot. In the sound, in the overall vocal approach, I would go as far as to say even in the overall production of the record. It's an album that knows how to build these two elements and merge them together, creating a very unique experience. Because it's two genres that have their own individual attributes, and these guys bring those attributes into the forefront very predominantly throughout the entire album, creating this sound that's becoming a unique perspective of the band and a unique perspective that the band has on what they want their overall sound to be. For example, the sound of the bass on this record, it pops so much. Something that you normally see out of bands like Korn, for example. The bass sound on this album, while it doesn't go as far as the bass sound on a Korn record is concerned, it goes pretty close. It's very noticeable, creating a lot of grooveness, popping outside the track, creating also a little bit more depth, creating a little bit more width, and definitely making itself notable across each and every single song throughout the entire record. The drums also have quite a bit of new metal, but on the drum side, you're going to see a little bit more of a divide between deathcore and new metal, with both genres allowing the drums to give a lot of width to the songs, give a lot of heaviness to the songs, and in certain cases a little bit more grooviness here, in certain cases a little bit more power and aggression there. So it's a drum sound that I really enjoy throughout the entire album because it created a sense of a heartbeat for the record and definitely made the album overall feel more robust. Once you get into the guitars, this is the one element that really switches around between those two elements perfectly, and even merging those two elements or the true elements, I should say, of deathcore and new metal perfectly throughout the entire record. Moving in from heaviness, breakdowns, to aggression, to intensity, to grooviness, to some more even metalcore style riffs and style breakdowns. This album also has a lot of life. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a guitar-rich sounding album, but it's very versatile as far as the guitars are concerned, and they become a very important factor throughout this entire album. Perhaps not as noticeable as far as picking one side of the coin, but very noticeable on representing both sides extremely well. Once you get into the vocal performance, I feel like the aggression of the vocals really transforms itself into what the overall aggression and attitude of the music is all about. The vocal style and the overall vocal approach is also very versatile, not taking a one-size-fits-all, mixing in some more electronic, almost industrial style vocal approaches with more traditional deathcore style deliveries, and a little bit of everything in between, creating a versatile sounding record as far as what the vocals are giving this album. I enjoyed perhaps the most about the vocals is how well intertwined they are with the spirit of each and every single song, with the aggression of each and every single song, and the intensity that those songs require. All around, you have a very chaotic album, you have a very chaotic experience, but you also have a very heavy and thunderous record all around. This definitely is a heavy-hitting sounding album that has a lot of aggression, that has a lot of heaviness, that I feel that will check boxes on fans of both new metal and deathcore. But it's an album that you really have to look past that chaos in order to really appreciate what's underneath it. As far as favorite songs are concerned, I want to start off with Boiler Room, a more melancholic new metal style track, both on the vocal side and the musical side. The bass on this track pops a lot, which is true throughout the entire record, but on this song you really notice the bass coming through, creating some grooviness, adding some grooviness to the track. The vocals have a little bit of distortion in them. They're heavy, they add aggression to the track. The guitars also have some distortion in it. So it's a track that has heaviness within itself, but it doesn't hide the overall melancholy that the track puts forward. At the midway point of the song, the track moves away from that more methodic, melancholic movement into a more intense, more aggressive, forward-moving style sound. And this makes the song feel like it gains size, that it gains weight, that it gains heaviness all around. But the overall mood of the song never really changes regardless of what the tempo of the track is. Then you have a song like RoseBloomWrist. Great bass sound on this song. I honestly really enjoyed the bass sound on this song. I thought it was so important to make this song feel bigger and more impactful. It's a more deathcore style track, a more true deathcore style track, both on the vocal side and on the musical side. It still hides some nu metal attributes, but it really relies more on a deathcore style experience with a heavier, more punchy sound, and definitely with more heavier vocals as well. This makes the track overall feel a lot more brutal, and it holds the chaos within that overall brutality that the track has. Last but definitely not least, Cold Now, heavy hammering track. The drums sound insane. This is perhaps my favorite song as far as the overall drum sound, but also drum execution goes. The vocals are very brutal on this track, and that is something that really stands out because it's not just about the brutality of the vocals or even about the brutality of the sound. To me, this song is about the overall darkness that the track has. This is definitely one of those songs that you can feel the darkness all the way through. You can feel it in the sound, you can feel it in the lyrics, and you can definitely feel it in the overall vocal performance. Allowing the track to have movement, allowing the track to have some grooviness, adding some DJ like scratching records style approach that's very nu metal, adding that into the overall texture of the sound takes nothing away from the overall brutality of the track. If anything, it adds a little bit more aroma, it adds a little bit more charisma to the track, once again showcasing how well they combine nu metal elements with deathcore elements to create kind of their own vision of what their sound is. This song is a pure representation of that. This is it, Mélancolia with Random Access Misery, once again out August 29th on Nuclear Blast. Hit me up in the comment section, let me know your thoughts. I'll see you all at the next video. Take care, guys.